Ryan had been traveling for weeks through deep space, his ship humming quietly as it drifted toward the bustling space station. Orbital Prime. The journey had been long and exhausting, leaving him tired, hungry, and coated in the grime of countless repairs and engine inspections. Every muscle in his body ached from the constant labor, and the once bright uniform he wore was now stained with dust, sweat, and the marks of hard work. He stepped off his ship into the station's docking bay, breathing a sigh of relief. The artificial air smelled clean but carried the faint scent of metal and machinery. He looked around at the crowd of beings from different planets, each busy with their own tasks. Some hurried past with purpose, others wandered lazily, taking in the sights and shops of the station. Ryan's stomach growled. He had skipped meals during the long flight, busy monitoring the ship's engines and navigation systems to think about food. But there was one thing he needed more than a meal: a shower. His body felt sticky, heavy with sweat and grime. The thought of stepping into a clean, warm shower was almost overwhelming. He walked toward the station's public hygiene center, a large building marked by glowing signs and lines of various species waiting for access. The center had strict rules. Every user had to pay a fee, no exceptions. Ryan reached into his pocket, pulling out the small credits he had saved for such necessities. He was ready to pay and finally feel clean again as he approached the entrance. He noticed someone struggling near the side of the building. A female alien stood awkwardly, shifting from one foot to the other. Her body was slim and elegant, but her clothes were dirty and torn in places, clinging to her in a way that made her look vulnerable. She carried herself with dignity despite her disheveled state, and Ryan immediately sensed that she was different from the casual travelers around him. The alien looked around nervously, clutching a small pouch of credits. She glanced at the entrance and then back at her pouch, clearly calculating something in her mind. Ryan realized she didn't have enough credits for the shower. Before he could think too much, he walked over. "Hey," he said gently, "you need some help?" The alien turned to him, her large eyes wide with surprise. There was a sharpness in her gaze, a mix of suspicion and curiosity. "I don't have enough credits for the shower," she admitted quietly, her voice soft but dignified. Ryan smiled. "I can cover it," he said simply. "Don't worry about it," she blinked, clearly taken aback. No one had ever offered her help so freely. The corners of her lips twitched, as if she were struggling to understand why a human would do such a thing. "Would do that?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Sure," Ryan replied. "Everyone deserves a chance to be clean." Her expression softened slightly. "You are different," she said, more to herself than to him. Ryan shrugged. "Maybe, but right now, you just need a shower." Handed her the credits. The alien hesitated for a moment, then took them, bowing slightly in respect. "Thank you," she said, her tone more formal now. "I am Liara." "Ryan," he said, nodding. "Nice to meet you, Liara." Liara glanced around nervously before stepping inside the hygiene center. Ryan watched her go, feeling a strange sense of curiosity. There was something about her that made him want to know more, though he couldn't yet put his finger on it. He shook his head and turned to enter the shower himself, grateful for the chance to finally wash away the grime of weeks in space. The warm water hit him, and he closed his eyes, letting the heat wash over him. It felt like a small miracle after so long. For the first time in weeks, he felt human again, refreshed and alive. But even as he relaxed, his thoughts kept drifting back to the alien woman. Why had she looked so desperate? Why had no one helped her before? When he finished and stepped out, the station corridors felt different, cleaner somehow. He noticed Liara sitting on a bench nearby, drying her hair with a cloth she had borrowed from the center. Her hair, though still a bit tangled, shimmered slightly in the station lights. She looked more composed now, but the anxiety in her eyes remained. Ryan approached her carefully. "Feeling better?" he asked. Liara nodded. "Much. Your help. It is unexpected. Rare, even." Ryan chuckled. "Humans are a bit strange that way. We like to help when we can." Liara tilted her head, studying him. You are kind but not naive. I can see it in your eyes." Ryan raised an eyebrow. That sounds like a compliment or a warning, she smiled faintly, a mysterious expression that didn't reveal much. Perhaps both, she said. As they sat in silence, Ryan noticed the subtle tension around her. She seemed powerful, confident, yet there was an undercurrent of desperation he could not ignore. He didn't know what it was, but something about Liara told him she carried a burden, a secret she could not share with just anyone. Over the next few days, Ryan and Liara kept running into each other. Sometimes in the market, sometimes in the station corridors. She watched him from a distance at first, curious about this human who treated others with respect and kindness. Slowly, she began to speak with him, asking questions about Earth, human culture, and life on distant planets. Ryan, in turn, was fascinated by her. Liara spoke with intelligence and precision, her words carefully chosen. She seemed to understand more than she let on, and Ryan could sense a strength in her that went beyond physical ability. There was something regal about her, something commanding. Yet she was approachable and warm in her own way. One evening, as they walked along a quiet corridor filled with the soft hum of the station's energy lines, Liara spoke with unusual candor. "Ryan, why do humans help others without expecting anything in return?" she asked. He paused, thinking. Because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Helping others doesn't always have to come with a reward. Liara nodded slowly, her eyes thoughtful. "Your kind is fascinating. I have seen many beings in my life, but humans are different. Rarely do they show such humility and courage together." Ryan laughed softly. "Maybe we're just lucky. Or stubborn. Sometimes both." Lyra's gaze lingered on him, and for a moment, Ryan felt a strange warmth, an unspoken connection forming between them. He didn't understand it fully, but he sensed that their meeting was not by chance. Something about his simple act of kindness had drawn her attention in ways he couldn't imagine. As the day ended, they parted ways. Ryan returned to his ship, tired but content. Liara lingered a moment longer in the station's observation deck, staring out at the stars. Her mind was restless, filled with thoughts she could not yet express. Ryan had shown her a glimpse of something rare in her world: selflessness, bravery, and honesty. Little did Ryan know. His small gesture of paying her shower fee had set into motion events far greater than he could imagine. Liara, desperate for an heir to continue her lineage, had been searching for someone of true character, someone strong yet kind. By helping her, Ryan had unknowingly begun the first step toward changing not only her life, but the fate of her people. As the station lights dimmed for the night, Ryan lay in his small cabin, exhausted but peaceful. He did not know the significance of the encounter fully, but he felt a quiet satisfaction in knowing he had done something good. Meanwhile, Liara, in her quarters, examined the small credits he had given her. To anyone else, they were nothing. To her, they represented hope, trust, and perhaps the first step toward a future she had long feared might never come. The stars outside the station stretched endlessly, indifferent yet beautiful, a reminder that the universe was vast and full of possibilities. And somewhere hidden among them, two lives had intersected in a way neither could have foreseen, setting the stage for events that would test courage, trust, and the power of humanity itself. By the time the first light of the next orbital cycle touched the station, Ryan and Liara were both awake, unaware that destiny had begun to weave their paths together. The human's simple kindness had planted a seed, one that would grow into something far larger than either of them could yet imagine. And thus, the first chapter of their story ended not with conflict or battle, but with a simple act of generosity, proof that even in a vast, indifferent universe, small gestures of humanity could ignite change beyond imagination. The days after their first meeting passed with a quiet rhythm. Ryan went about his duties aboard Orbital Prime, performing maintenance work on ships, delivering supplies, and helping travelers navigate the busy station. Despite the work, his thoughts often drifted to Liara. There was something about her that intrigued him, something beyond her noble bearing or the strange vulnerability she had shown. He didn't understand it yet, but he felt drawn to her, as if fate itself had woven their paths together. Liara, on the other hand, could not stop thinking about him. His simple kindness had surprised her, and it stayed in her mind like a small, persistent light in the darkness of her worries. She had lived her entire life in the rigid society of her people, where power, status, and appearances determined everything. Generosity without expectation was almost unheard of. And yet, Ryan had given her help freely, without judging her, without demanding anything in return. She realized that this human could be the one she had been searching for. Her people had strict traditions. Only someone of exceptional character could assist in producing the next generation of their leaders. Someone strong in body, mind, and spirit. Many had failed her tests before, chosen for their status or wealth, but lacking the true qualities she required. Ryan, in his humble way, had already passed the first test. He had acted out of kindness, determined to see if he could meet the other requirements. Liara devised a plan. She would observe him, test him in small ways, engage his courage, wisdom, and patience. She needed to be certain, but the stakes were higher than mere companionship. They were about the future of her lineage and her people. One afternoon, Ryan was repairing a freighter's power unit when he noticed Liara standing at the station's observation deck. She waved at him, a small, polite gesture. Ryan set down his tools and walked over, wiping grease from his hands. Liara, he greeted warmly. "What brings you here?" "I wished to speak with you," she said, her tone measured formal. "If you have a moment," of course, Ryan replied. "I'm almost done here anyway." They walked along the observation deck, overlooking the vast expanse of space. Ships glided past, their lights reflecting on the glass walls. The station hummed quietly beneath them, a gentle reminder of the life teeming within it. Liara watched Ryan closely as he spoke about his travels, about the strange planets he had visited, and the different species he had met. His stories were honest, unembellished, and full of humility. He admitted mistakes, shared small failures, and spoke with pride only when he had truly earned it. "You are different from other travelers I have seen," Liara said softly. "Your kind usually boasts, or hides mistakes, or tries to impress. You do neither." Ryan shrugged. "I just do what I can. I'm not interested in impressing anyone." Liara smiled faintly. "That is rare." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "I must ask you something personal. Will you answer honestly?" Ryan nodded. "I always try to. Your species values kindness, but also courage and wisdom. Tell me, would you risk yourself to help someone you do not know, even if it could be dangerous?" Ryan considered her question. He had faced danger countless times during his missions, and yet he had always acted to protect others. "Yes," he said firmly. "I would. It's not just about being brave, it's about doing what's right." Lyra's eyes sparkled with interest. "And what if helping someone could cost you dearly? Not just in danger, but in your standing, your resources, even your life." He looked at her steadily. "If the choice is between what's easy and what's right, I choose right. Always." Leora's lips curved into a faint smile, one that held both approval and curiosity. "You are exceptional, Ryan. Perhaps more than you realize." The conversation ended there, but Lyra's mind was restless. She needed more evidence of his character, more understanding of who he truly was. She devised small tests, situations where he would need to demonstrate patience, courage, and empathy. She did so quietly, subtly influencing events on the station without his knowledge. The first test came unexpectedly. A small transport shuttle carrying medical supplies malfunctioned near the docking bay. The crew, a group of inexperienced aliens, panicked. Supplies were spilling everywhere, and minor sparks from the damaged engine threatened to ignite a fire. Ryan, passing nearby, immediately stepped in. Without hesitation, he assessed the situation, calming the crew and organizing a quick repair. He managed to save the supplies and prevent any accident, all while keeping the panicked crew safe. Liara watched from a distance, her heart racing. She had expected him to help, but seeing him act with calm, controlled skill impressed her more than she had imagined. He had not hesitated, nor had he sought recognition. He acted because it was the right thing to do. The second test came a few days later. A group of smugglers attempted to bypass station security, hiding dangerous cargo among innocent shipments. Liara knew they could cause chaos if unchecked. She orchestrated a situation where Ryan would encounter the smugglers while performing routine maintenance on the station systems. Ryan noticed something was off immediately. The behavior of the crew seemed suspicious, the cargo logs inconsistent. He investigated carefully, using both logic and observation to uncover the smugglers' plan. Without seeking confrontation, he reported the findings to station authorities, ensuring the situation was resolved without violence. Again, Liara observed quietly, impressed by his intelligence and calm approach. He had solved a problem that could have escalated into chaos, and he had done so with humility and precision. Finally, she devised a subtle emotional test. She arranged for an orphaned alien child to be placed in Ryan's care briefly, under the guise of a temporary assignment. The child was timid and afraid, having recently lost its family during a transport accident. Ryan accepted the responsibility without hesitation. He spoke gently to the child, earning trust with patience and understanding. Over several hours, he taught the child simple tasks, reassured it, and even played small games to bring comfort. Liara watched from a hidden observation room, her eyes softening. The human's actions went beyond duty. He cared genuinely. He had shown courage, intelligence, and empathy, all without seeking reward. For her people, these qualities were rare qualities she had been searching for her entire life. After the tests, Liara finally approached Ryan directly. They met at a quiet observation lounge overlooking a nebula swirling in vibrant colors. The stars beyond shone brightly, a reminder of the vastness of the universe and the smallness of individual lives. "Ryan," Liara began, her tone serious but calm, "I have observed you these past days. I must confess, it was not by chance that you helped me that first day. I have been searching for someone like you." Ryan blinked, uncertain. "Someone like me? What do you mean?" Liara took a deep breath. "My people have strict traditions. We need individuals of exceptional character to assist in continuing our lineage. I need an heir to secure the future of my family and my people. Many have failed the tests, chosen for status or power, but lacking the qualities that truly matter." Ryan's jaw tightened slightly, unsure how to respond. "You want my help for this?" Liara nodded. "Yes, but it is not a simple request. I need to be certain of your character, your courage, and your wisdom. That is why I observed you. You have passed every test so far, though you do not yet realize it." Ryan shook his head, struggling to understand. I never expected any of this. I just helped you because it was right." Liara smiled softly. "And that is why you are the one. That is why humans, though often underestimated, are remarkable. You act from the heart, not the desire for reward. That is what my people value above all else." For the first time, Ryan felt the weight of the situation. He was not just a traveler or a helper, he was being considered for something monumental. His actions, small though they seemed, had caught the attention of a civilization with strict rules and high expectations. Liara continued, her voice gentle but firm. "I do not ask this lightly. Assisting me is not just about helping me, it is about shaping the future, ensuring the strength and survival of my people. I must know if you are willing." Ryan took a moment, thinking carefully. He had faced danger and hardship countless times, but this was different. This was not a battle of weapons or skill, but of trust, morality, and courage. After a long pause, he met her gaze steadily. "If it helps you, your people, and does the right thing, I will help," he said. "I don't fully understand all of it, but I trust you, and I will do my best." Liara's eyes shone with relief and admiration. "Thank you, Ryan. That is all I could ask. Your humanity, your courage, and your integrity, they surpass what many of my people could achieve. You are truly extraordinary." As they stood together, the stars beyond the observation deck seemed to glow brighter, silent witness to the bond forming between human and alien. Ryan's simple act of kindness, the decision to pay for her shower, had set in motion a series of events that neither could have foreseen. For Liara, it was hope. For Ryan, it was the beginning of a journey that would test his character, courage, and compassion in ways he had never imagined. Together, they were stepping into a future filled with challenges, discoveries, and the quiet strength of humanity that could shine across the stars. The first spark had become a flame, one that promised change, growth, and perhaps the most extraordinary adventure either of them had ever. The station hummed quietly as Ryan moved through the corridors, carrying out routine tasks. He felt a strange mixture of anticipation and unease. He had learned over the past days that helping Liara was more than a simple act of kindness. It was a responsibility with great consequences. Yet he did not regret it. In fact, he felt a sense of purpose that he had never known before. Liara, meanwhile, prepared for what she called the next step. Her people had rules for everything, and the continuation of her lineage was no exception. She had already observed Ryan's character, courage, and wisdom. Now, she needed him to understand the significance of what she asked. It was more than a favor. It was a bond of trust, a partnership that could shape the future of her people. That evening, she sent a private message to Ryan, requesting he meet her in the observation lounge. He arrived to find her standing near the large panoramic windows, the stars casting soft light on her face. Her expression was calm but serious, a reflection of the gravity of their conversation. "Ryan," she began, her voice steady, "you have shown qualities rare even among my own people. Courage, empathy, wisdom. You possess them in abundance. That is why I'm asking you to take the next step with me." Ryan nodded, unsure how to respond. "Liara, I want to help. I do. But I'm not sure I fully understand what you need from me." She turned to him, her eyes softening. "I need someone I can trust completely. Someone whose actions come from the heart. You have proven yourself worthy in ways no one else has. But now, you must decide if you are willing to join me in a task that will shape the future of my lineage." Ryan felt the weight of her words. This was no longer about helping a stranger. This was about being part of something far larger, something he could not fully control or understand. Yet he also recognized the importance of trust, honesty, and courage, qualities he had lived by his whole life. "I will do it," he said firmly. "I don't know everything, but I trust you, and I will do my best to help." Liara's face lit with a faint smile, a mixture of relief and admiration. "Thank you, Ryan. That is all I could ask." Over the following weeks, Ryan and Liara worked closely together. He learned more about her culture, her people, and the expectations placed upon her. She explained the significance of her search for a partner, capable of producing a strong heir, someone whose qualities would ensure the survival and prosperity of her lineage. Ryan listened carefully, asking questions when needed, and offering insight from his human perspective. Liara, in turn, observed him constantly. His patience with her people, his calm approach to challenges, and his unyielding honesty impressed her deeply. She began to trust him not only as a helper, but as someone who could truly share in her responsibilities. One day, while they were walking through the station's botanical gardens, Ryan noticed a group of alien children playing near the edge of a small artificial pond. One child slipped and fell, its small cries echoing through the garden. Without hesitation, Ryan rushed forward, carefully lifting the child from the water and checking for injuries. Liara watched silently from a distance, her heart swelling with admiration. Ryan's actions were instinctive, genuine, and selfless. He had saved the child without hesitation, without thought for recognition or reward. It was a simple act, but to her people, it represented the highest qualities a partner could possess. As the days turned into weeks, Liara began to speak more openly about her hopes and fears. She confided in Ryan about her desperation for an heir, about the pressure from her family and her society, and about her fear that she might fail. Ryan listened with empathy, offering support not through words alone, but through his actions. He treated her with respect, patience, and kindness, showing her that humanity could offer something her people had never fully understood. Unconditional support and courage born from the heart. One evening, Liara invited Ryan to her private quarters. The room was spacious, filled with soft light and simple furnishings, reflecting her personality. Elegant, yet practical. She gestured for him to sit, then spoke with a seriousness that commanded attention. "Ryan," she began, "I am placing my trust in you completely. The decision I ask of you is not simple. It will affect not only me, but my entire lineage. I need to know that you understand the responsibility, the importance of what lies ahead." Ryan nodded, his expression firm. "I understand. I may not know all the details, but I know the principles: trust, courage, and doing what is right. I am ready." Liara smiled, a mixture of relief and admiration in her eyes. "Then we begin. Together." What followed was a series of rituals and preparations according to Lyra's cultural traditions. Ryan participated willingly, observing and learning, showing respect for her customs and for the values they represented. Each step was a test of character, a chance to demonstrate patience, understanding, and honor. Throughout the process, Ryan's actions continued to impress Liara. He showed humility, even when praised, courage, even in difficult or uncomfortable situations, and empathy, even toward those who doubted him. His humanity, simple yet profound, revealed qualities that our own people often overlooked in favor of status, strength, or wealth. Eventually, the moment arrived for the final affirmation. Liara and Ryan stood together before a council of her people. The leaders who oversaw the selection of suitable partners for continuing the lineage. The council observed silently, their expressions unreadable. Liara spoke first, explaining her choice and the reasons behind it. She described Ryan's courage, empathy, intelligence, and humility qualities she had witnessed and valued above all else. The council listened carefully, their eyes occasionally flicking to Ryan. Assessing him in turn, Ryan spoke humbly, acknowledging the honor and responsibility placed upon him. He expressed his willingness to help Liara and her people, not for recognition or reward, but because he understood the importance of the task and wished to do what was right, after what felt like hours. The council reached a decision. One by one they nodded, their expressions softening. Finally, the head of the council spoke. "Ryan, your actions, your character, and your heart have proven worthy. You have exceeded the expectations we hold for all who seek to assist in continuing our lineage. You are accepted." Relief and pride washed over Liara and Ryan simultaneously. The moment was solemn yet joyous, marking the beginning of a partnership that would shape the future of her people in the days that followed. Preparations continued for the next steps of their shared journey. Ryan remained humble, quietly assisting where needed, never seeking attention or praise. Liara, meanwhile, found herself growing increasingly respectful and fond of him. His simple humanity, the courage, empathy, and honesty he displayed every day was a force that could not be ignored. A reminder of the strength that humans could bring to even the most advanced societies as the weeks passed. Ryan and Liara grew closer, not just as partners in responsibility, but as companions. Their bond was built on trust, shared purpose, and mutual admiration. Ryan learned more about her culture, and Liara learned more about humanity, discovering in him a living example of qualities her people had long overlooked. Finally, the moment arrived to affirm the future. In a private ceremony, Ryan and Liara stood together before a small gathering of trusted witnesses. The rituals were simple, yet deeply meaningful, symbolizing the trust, courage, and unity required to continue her lineage. Ryan felt the weight of responsibility, but he also felt a quiet sense of honor. He had begun this journey with a simple act of kindness, paying for her shower, and it had grown into something far greater than he could have imagined. Now he stood as a symbol of humanity's unique strength, courage, empathy, and integrity, capable of earning trust and respect even among the most advanced civilizations. Liara looked at him, her expression a mixture of gratitude, relief, and admiration. "Thank you, Ryan," she said softly. For everything. For seeing me, for trusting me, and for showing that true strength comes not from power or status, but from the heart. Ryan smiled. I didn't do it for thanks. I did it because it was right. But I'm glad I could help. The stars outside the station shimmered, a silent witness to the moment. A human had stepped into an alien society, not with weapons or force, but with courage, empathy, and humility. And in doing so, he had proven that humanity, even in the vastness of space, could shine brighter than any technology or power. Liara and Ryan stood side by side, looking out at the universe that stretched endlessly before them. Their journey was far from over, but they faced it together, bound by trust, respect, and a shared purpose. Humanity had once again shown its worth, not through dominance or aggression, but through the quiet, undeniable strength of character that could inspire, protect, and shape the future across the stars. And in that moment, a bond was formed that neither time nor distance could break, a bond born of kindness, tested by courage and affirmed by the power of the human spirit. For Ryan, it had started with a simple act, paying for a shower. For Liara, it had ended with hope and trust in a human capable of changing not only her life, but the future of her people. Together, they had begun a journey that would span worlds, a testament to the quiet power of humanity in the vast, mysterious galaxy.